Right, it is Sunday afternoon, sun's out. Let's do a front garden tour stroke update, see what's survived in the front garden. And in general, things have done a lot better in the front compared to what's happened in the back garden. Anyway, so this is the new olive tree potted up in the front garden. I have got to put a couple more pots down this side, maybe a palm tree or so, which I've got in pots. I'm still deciding what to put there. So come towards the front of the house, we've got the Euphorbia or red hot pokers. Just give them a trim back this morning, so looking a bit unwieldy. Let the new growth or the green growth come in and reveal any pokers that are on the way, which there's a few coming up. Dodgy old rose which I can't get rid of, and I keep cutting it back and it still keeps on growing, but it's always a good flower, even though there's not really many flowers come out at the moment, still a bit early. So the Phoenix canariensis in pots out the front are absolutely fine. They were there all winter, no problem, no spear pull. A couple of the old fronds, obviously a little bit of brown tipping, but in general absolutely fine. We have got a small olive tree we bought last year. Got the usual potted Cordlines, Yucca. Again, this was under the overhang of the house, so it's kept all this foliage. That's the Yucca jewel, really nice foliage on that. And we've got the Camerops here, which is the Etna Star, white backed, and we've got loads of flowers coming on that. Another Phoenix canariensis, again no problem, tucked against the house over winter, survived exactly the same as the Washingtonia robusta, which are two in pots here, which I'm going to move and sort out, but again just under the overhang and pretty much untouched from winter. This is south facing the front of my house, so we do get sun all day in the winter, and even the cacti in pots at the front here is absolutely fine. So this Trechocapus we put here a couple of years ago, quite small, is starting to bulk up, starting to get some decent sized leaves on that. I haven't really weeded out the front here, so you're going to have to bear with me. We have got a Musa Basa coming up. We've got, I think this is this yellow wave or some sort of variegated phormium, a little bit of damage on that, but in general looks okay. Bear's britches starting to bulk out there. No sign of movement on the tetrapanics yet. We'll see. A lot of the cannas starting to come up now. Yucca recurvifolia, this is one of the hardest yuccas you can grow in the UK. Never takes damage no matter how cold it is, and you really do get this nice silvery greeny stripe effect, and that does flower every year. Again, Musa Basa, no lost height on that, that's absolutely fine, that's been pushing out. This is an interesting one. So this is the Nanorops palm, totally unprotected over winter. Yes, some brown tips, but in general all the growing points are still green and ready to start pushing out growth. So yeah, that is hardy. Doesn't like the damp, but that is one of the cold hardiest palms in the world. Still got some various cannas pushing through. We've got Tropicana, Indica, and we've got some Musifolia in there as well. We've got one of the ornamental rhubarbs here that has got the red backed leaf. I will say again, nothing in the front has ever had any protection this winter. That's been left to its own devices. Tree fern pumping out loads of new fronds, totally unprotected. Yes, the old foliage burnt off in the frosts, but the crown is fine, looking like it's going to push out a good few fronds this year. So I've got a big patch here, which is generally just that, what's it, Virginia or elephant ear, common name, but I don't like to call it elephant ears because obviously that sort of crossovers to the colocaceae. I call colocaceae elephant ears, but yeah, got a big patch of that there. Euphorbia mellifera, absolutely fine through the winter. Did lose 2 heads, but in general most of them still good, still flowered, and now setting seed. We've got the Agave strata there, that's a particularly blue form, so that's going to be nice when it gets bigger. The little gem magnolia took a bit of a hit, I think it killed a couple of stems, but again that'll push through and do okay. We've got a Cordline jester there, that seems to be okay, it's still kept all its foliage. And this is the surprise for me, the Robustas in this corner, totally in the open, absolutely, I won't say fine because there's a little bit of brown tipping, but compared to ones in the back that lost nearly all the foliage, this is, these two here are pretty mint condition, so that's an interesting one. And again with the Phoenix canariensis here, that's not suffered anything at all, and we've got two spears pushing out as we speak. We've got a little Cordline here. This is, I think it's mint choc something. So that's quite a nice variegated one with the yellow and brown leaves, but you get like a flash of green through the leaf on some of them. But yeah, that's survived, that's pushing new growth. Got another recurvifolia there. We've got the Hydrangea, which is flushing out now. The red, just hot lips. So that's, as we can see, full of new buds. I don't ever cut this back, I'll leave it as it is, and it's now getting some nice flowers on that as well. So the Platts black phormium, that seems pretty much untouched, that's doing well. We've got a lot of cannas at the front here which are only just starting to poke through. So we've got some Tropicana, and we've got some Tropicana Gold there as well. I did leave a Brugmansia out, and no surprises, that's totally dead. So we did have a couple of Cordlines in the front here, and in fact we still do. We've got a can there which has still got a little bit of green foliage on it and pushing a little bit of new growth. This side we got a, what was it, Salsa, so it's one of the pinky purple Cordlines, and that pretty much lost all the foliage, but now is starting to push out some new growth from the centre, so that's good. And in the middle here we did have Cordline Superstar, which has still got a little bit of colour on it, which is the burgundy wide leaf Cordline. So I dug that out because I think that's going to take a year or two to recover, so I put in a Emerald Star, which is the nice emerald green version, nice wide tropical looking Cordline, so that's going to look good. We've got the serifera here, again absolutely untouched from winter. Standard humulus here, and we can see on this one actually that spear that was coming out over the winter period. It's got some rot on it, but then we've got some nice green growth after that, so that's just going to push through. So not spear pull, but probably pretty close, so it's starting to rot but now pushing out. Got some small yuccas here, so it's a nice variegated one. Yeah, so interestingly, the Washingtonia Robusta that side was absolutely fine over winter, but the one this side started to rot out. So yesterday I literally cut back the trunk, and even just in that one day I can see that's pushed out, I don't know, probably about 8 mil of growth. So it's not dead, it's rotten, rotten at the top, and I thought that's a goner, but nothing to lose other than cut a couple of inches off. And yeah, so that is alive because it's pushing new growth. So we'll see how that does over the summer. We have got a little fig tree starting to push out some leaves, and we've got another red hot poker clump here, and we've got some variegated giant grass there as well, which will hopefully start putting on some size. And then we've got the little waggy on the corner of the drive to welcome you as you come in. So the Agave Americana, which is totally unprotected over winter, pulled through no problem. It did have a couple of brown tips, but that's not an issue because I went round the other day and just clipped off the spiky ends anyway, so I literally just trimmed the brown tips off as well. So we'll see, this looks a bit neater and a lot safer as well when you're walking past when I'm cutting the grass and stuff like that. That is just a lot safer for me because these are lethal, these things, and as they get bigger it's easy to walk into them. Apart from the weeds, I was also surprised to see we've got some of that Tradescantia coming back. That's like normally just a summer bedding one, like the purple one. I don't know if we can see it here. It's coming back. I had a clump in each corner, and they're all coming back. So again, totally unprotected other than probably the Agave itself over the top of it, and all coming back. It's a bit in the shade, that one, but again we can see it's coming back there. So the centre raised bed, which is Boutia odorata, which has looked a bit rough the last couple of years, is actually starting to push out some nice fronds, almost not quite bluey, but a better colour than the old fronds. So I trimmed back some of the old. A lot of the cacti didn't make it through the winter, but a couple of them did, surprisingly. The variegated agave there again. That's pretty much undamaged over the winter. And then we've got the Agave attenuata. Now this is going to look a bit rough because it's got no roots, because I cut it. It had quite a long stem, stroke trunk, whatever you want to call it. Had some pups around the base, so I cut the big rosette off with about a foot of trunk and just stuck it in a pot. So effectively it's got no roots at the moment, so we'll see over the next weeks stroke months if this starts opening up. But yeah, one of my favourite agaves there. They get massive and just totally different to anything else. And then coming to the last raised bed, which I'm going to have to do something with, because I had a load of red stars, Cordlines, which are still in pots. I just stuck them in here for a bit of winter interest, and surprisingly a bit of damage but still alive. But the centrepiece was the Rhubarb, which is quite a small plant, and I think that's succumbed to the winter. That was a bit too small. Saying that, no, I'm not going to pull it out just yet. We'll see if we get any regrowth on that, but that was probably too wet and too cold for that one to pull through, so I'll probably need a bit of a bigger specimen to survive the winters, or especially survive that winter we've just had. Right, so that is just a quick look around the front garden. So like I say, in general things fared a lot better in the front than they did in the back. So other than that, Agave and Marta, I think all the palms survived, no spear pulls, apart from the Robusta, which I cut back, but they're still pushing. So yeah, so in general pretty good considering. So that is the front garden house looking at the moment. Look a lot better when the can is kicking. Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching.